Hi everyone, and you're very welcome to another episode here on WomenTalk Radio. I'm Eunice Olsen, and today we have the privilege of speaking with Phebe Cho, the founder of Accelus, an organization which focuses on helping women to redefine their future through a process of self-discovery. Motivated by her very own personal experiences, Phebe speaks to me from her home in Perth and tells me all about her various initiatives to help different groups of women, such as ex-convicts, to transition back into the workforce. This is her story. Listen, and you will hear stories of beauty, strength, and inspiration. Let's talk Women Talk. Well, Phoebe, thank you so much for doing this interview with WomenTalk Radio. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about the work and what you do and how you ended up setting up this company of yours, Accelus, right?
Yes, definitely. So I'm the founder of Accelus. We're a talent consultancy and a career coaching academy. And I think the fundamental belief is we're shaping the future of human potential. So we want to see everyone's unique gifting and really finding a space and meaningful work for each person. So before I started this crazy adventure, I used to be an executive recruiter. So I was focusing on C-suite and board level appointments. And what I noticed was there wasn't very many women in the top leadership, but there is so many talented women. How come we're not getting to the top? And that's really the call. And in 2012, things changed for me because I became a mum. And my life changed. And, ever since I became a mum, I kind of struggled with having my ambitions, because I'm still a really ambitious person, but how to have motherhood and ambition and what that looked like in terms of a career format. And I tell you what, at that point, I just decided to redefine everything. It was scary, but it was the best thing ever because I've now learnt to create my work, my life around the work that I do.
What was the impetus for you to say, I wanted to step away from a stable corporate career and start this too? I mean, the fact that you were a mum, but what was it that made you take that plunge?
So it was a glass ceiling. It's always a big thing, but it was a glass ceiling. So I had realized that I'd missed out on a promotion that my male colleague got. And I realized that in 4 days a week, so I was working flexibly, 4 days a week, I actually achieved more than he did in 5 days a week. And then I actually questioned my superiors, my bosses, and said, I think we need to address this. And I don't think they really understood how important it was. And so I think that was the big impetus for me to go, there's got to be something more. So I started Accelerate Women, which was a networking group. So I took career women from across Perth to come together and really kind of share their stories to help empower each other. And from there, we relaunched at the beginning of this year as Accelus. So we do a lot of talent work with organizations, so working with sort of global 5,000 businesses and talking to them about where to find talent, how to develop their talent and how to retain talent. And the other space is the coaching space. So that's actually working with individuals to help them in whatever stage. So for some, I'm helping them transition back into work. So women who'd taken some time out of the workforce and how to actually build up their confidence. And I do quite a lot of career coaching with women who want to accelerate their career. So actually looking at defining the next step and what that looks like.
What are some of the preconceived notions that they might have in terms of like how the workplace will treat them, or and do you see some of it being true, or some of it just kind of just the preconceived notions that they have, and just to dispel some myths out there?
I think and definitely what I can see through the Australian market is there are a lot of companies that do some amazing things to help support women. I think the first step is actually to do it and to take that opportunity of, okay, I'm going to look for work, and then not only work, but something that plays to who I am. I think one of the questions a lot of women come is, I've just spent 5-6 years out of the workforce. Who am I? Like, things have changed. Like, technology is advanced in so many different ways. I'm not up to date with skills. But there's so many things I think as a mother you learn. Like, as a mother, you learn the ability to multitask. And that, I can tell you, is very difficult to do when you've got a screaming 2-year-old who needs to be fed, but you've got something else that needs to be done. Like, how do you prioritize that? I think those sorts of skills things that you can bring back into the workforce. But you've got to know how to harness that.
How would you tell a mother out there who is thinking of getting back into the workforce, who maybe has left the workforce for a very long time, to harness that kind of the potential that she's learned or that she's kind of grown as a mother?
I think it first comes with, again, starting with yourself, that self-reflection, that actual realization of who they are. And that's by knowing your core strengths. And, one of the questions I always ask my clients is, what were you like when you were 5 years old? And, so many of the times I work with people, they go back and they ask their parents, what was I like when I was 5? What things captured my interest? What things did I really enjoy to do? And you'll find that you haven't moved far from when you're 5. That core strength was there. It's just different ways it kind of evolves through. As someone who's been interviewing for over a decade, I can tell you pretty much every single interview you'll ever attend, they'll ask you that question, what are your strengths? And most people always talk about things that are learned, I'm really analytical, or I'm really creative. I've got the ability to do X, Y, and Z. But that's not what they're wanting to hear. They're wanting to know who you are.
What are you currently working on for Accelus? Tell us.
So with Accelus, we have just launched the new online academy, which is deeply exciting. And it's really kind of connecting with people from around the world and helping them in their journeys, which is amazing. We're also ramping up Project Lucy, which is pretty exciting stuff. Project Lucy started last year when I went to the female prison. So I went to into the prison system and I started talking to the women about how to find jobs. And then what I realized was that these women will struggle to find work because recruiters like to tick a box. And if it says that you've been imprisoned, that box usually goes into the we don't call back again pile. And then on the flip side, I've got some clients of mine who are saying, we really struggle to find women. And then I thought, okay, well, couldn't I look at bringing some of these girls coming out of prison into that line of work?
It's quite interesting because this is also a transition, right? It's coming out of prison and then trying to transition into the workforce as well. And it's also a very difficult transition because, there's a lot of things to relearn. You've been, out of kind of the workforce for a very long time as well. And also transitioning maybe even in a lifestyle, right? Yeah. And obviously there's more of maybe even a very huge emotional turmoil that they have to go through as well.
Absolutely. So I'm working with one woman at the moment and her name's Mary. So for 16 years, Mary was in an abusive relationship. And she actually lost her voice, so she couldn't speak. She bore this man 3 children, and a couple of years ago, she did a crime that she did, but she felt forced to do it for the safety of her and her children. So in prison, she was there for 3 years. She actually found her voice again. So she learnt to speak again. She found her voice. And she learned skills. And her only ambition in life is to be able to create an opportunity that she can bring her children back, because she's now got a criminal conviction. So in order for her to get her kids back, she has to jump through a number of hurdles. But that's just one girl. There's hundreds of women around Perth, Australia. And I just think, there's got to be more that we can do as a community and a society to help these women transition back.
Now, Mary's story is definitely a stark reminder to all of us of the hurdles many female ex-convicts face in returning to the workforce after being in prison. We're going to hear more about Accelus and Project Lucy right after this short break. Hi everyone, and welcome to WomenTalk Radio, and you're with me, Eunice Olsen, where we speak to unsung heroines around the world on a little program we like to call Her Story. Now we're speaking with Phebe Cho, the founder of Accelus, about Project Lucy. I asked her what words of encouragement she has for female ex-convicts who are making the very difficult transition back into society.
I think if I could give one thing to them is that they were all created uniquely and beautifully. And there is something special about each and every one of us. And whatever they've done in the past, they've obviously now served their time. They don't have to be bound by that anymore. This is a whole new frontier for them. It's a whole new chapter of their life. And there'll be people out there who are willing to help support them in that journey. We just need to be able to connect all the dots and find those people.
What about to employers, though?
Employers, I always believe in the underdog. I've been an underdog. I've seen the underdog get the job. And I tell you what, when you give someone an opportunity and you show that grace, they are indebted to you. They will go above and beyond because you've given them that opportunity, and you'll get so much more because you've taken a risk on them. So they are there's nothing that they wouldn't do. They would move mountains for you.
It's fantastic. Where are you hoping to bring Accelus to? Or what are some of the future plans that you have for Accelus? Because it sounds very exciting.
I think we would love to work with more organizations internationally as well, because talent is mobile now. The best talent doesn't have to be in Australia, it doesn't have to be in Singapore. It could be in India, it could be in America. It's kind of like, how do we all talk to each other? So I'd love to do a little bit more in that space. And then going back to the talent itself, like each one of us has a unique gift. Let's not get stuck in a box. Well, with Project Lucy, we are putting a business case together now to really see how we can scale this. How can we build a transition house and program so that the girls have the ability to reintegrate back. When a girl leaves the prison system, within 18 months, she has a 43% chance of going back in. So we've got to break that cycle. How do we do that?
You talked about the future of work a little bit just now, and we can see that things are changing. Also, the way the economy functions is changing. We have an alternative economy that's emerging. A lot of moms are starting home businesses. So we see a lot of this happening. What do you think is the future of work?
The biggest things that I would say is the way that we work is changing. So the mentality of work is a place I go to, that's changing. Now work is more a thing of me. And I think as automation and robotics and artificial intelligence comes, we're going to have more time to do what we want to do. So we're going to seek more purpose, and it's going to be a more human-centered design. And then the other thing that I'd say is flexibility will change. So these are going to be, and this is a really exciting opportunity, I think, for women who've been out of the workforce for a while. But instead of locking yourself to one job and working for one organization, you can jump between projects. So you work in one organization and deliver a project, then you go to your next organization and deliver a project. And maybe you work simultaneously on projects, but you design how you want to work around your life.
Phoebe, thank you so much. I mean, I had such a nice kind of conversation with you about, about the amazing work that you're doing, empowering so many women, not just women, or a C-suite level or board members or getting back after a long break, but also women who I think people discriminate against and so much of a bigger hurdle, I think, almost to get back into the workforce. So I have to ask you, and we ask all our women at the end of every interview, what is empowerment to you?
Empowerment to me is to be the best that we're intended to be, like the best version of who we are, and to empower women to do that in whatever way, shape or form, in what part of the world, whatever her story is, empower her to be the best version of who she is. That's what empowerment means to me.
Oh, thank you so much. No, thank you so much, Phoebe. This was fantastic. I really enjoyed having this conversation with you. Thank you for being on the show.
No, thank you. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
No problem. And that was Phebe Cho speaking with us all the way from Perth. Now, I was really struck by Phoebe's work on how she's trying to get women back into the workforce, how she's helping them. But I think also the work that she does to help female convicts as well, because I'm sure that the transition that they face is not only a very difficult one, but of course, they also have to deal with the stigma that they face in society. So thank you so much, Phoebe, for the amazing work that you do. Please subscribe to our channel if you want to hear more stories of unsung heroines around the world. And once again, thank you so much for staying with us here. My name is Eunice Olsen, and please tune in for more amazing stories here on Women Talk Radio.